Hi everyone. So I went to two comic book stores today, one that I've gone to for a while and one that's kind of closer to my place. I was trying to find some indie books, but I couldn't find them at either one. But anyway, me and my son have this thing where at this local comic book store, they have a lot of those expensive like statues of, pop culture figures, Star Wars and movies and comic books. And so we always do this thing where we kind of like, we say, in theory, with an unlimited budget, which one of these would you want and not? And since there's so many of these, I guess it's a big market out there. Every month or so, there's like a significantly different amount of them. So I was going through this one, and then I saw this Captain Marvel, and I was just shocked. First of all, it's very, very big, but I was shocked at how beautiful and striking and heroic this character that, quite frankly, if you put Captain Marvel in a video, people will hate watch it in the tens of thousands. Like, these are some of my most popular videos, Captain Marvel. I've done several of them because people hate this character the way she's portrayed now as a hyper-masculine, unsexy, pseudo-lesbian, militaristic, arrogant character. But this one, I mean, no joke. This is beautiful, and especially this. I'm showing one of the pics. So most of these pictures are from their Sideshow Collectibles, official site. The two kind of blurry ones are the ones I saw. I actually think the one I saw in person was even better because it was faced like right at you, so the eyes were looking right at you, and it was like really captivating. And I was looking. This sculpt is a completely idealized body that is still achievable, but it's like perfect. And it really made me think, it's like I would buy a comic with this character, the way she's posed, her body language. And as you're going to see, I'm including like all the pictures I could find because this looks so great. It's really expensive. It's $499. So I would never in a million years buy this. But I was literally just captivated, and I was thinking, this is exciting. I'm getting excited looking at this beautiful sculpture of what looks to be a really interesting and vibrant and exciting and powerful hero. I got all of the good impressions you want to get from a superhero from this thing. And it just made me, because, I've been roasting the hell out of the way people draw Captain Marvel. And I think because they're assuming what they want. So I did one about a week ago where it was from the Captain Marvel comic, and it showed an actress portraying the old version of her, and then there was a real one. And I got a ton of comics that they said in the thumbnail, they thought it was Marvel. They thought it was the old male Captain Marvel wearing Carol Danvers's. They had so masculinized her that in a thumbnail, people were confusing her for a man. And then I did this X-Men Gold yesterday where it was kind of like a group shot, but they showed Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel from the side, and she looked like a football player. It was ridiculous. And it was one of those things, like I've said, if you're going to draw her in this way and kind of portray her as a pseudo-lesbian, pull the trigger, have some balls, and do it. You want to do it with, a grade Z character, not grade Z, like a C-list character like Iceman. Do it with your new flagship. Put your money where your mouth is. Show us that you're not virtue signaling. So as you can see from these pictures, it's a very, very well done sculpt. The character is muscular without ever looking masculine. She has a firm jaw, but she does not have a man jaw. I pointed out in that X-Men Gold yesterday how incredibly masculine they made Kitty Pryde when she became the leader. And the funny thing is, there was something I noticed when I first read it, and then I didn't talk about it because I was like, this is kind of weird to talk about. But then so many people pointed out the comics that Kitty Pryde in her legs akimbo, super masculine, shooting a gun, like a giant jaw. She had a crotch bulge, a very large one that was actually computer colored shading to make the bulge. I'm like, what is going? I was actually joking to myself that in the coloring game, there's people who do flatting, and then sometimes they farm out the flatting, or they farm out, different parts of the process. And I was like, I literally think they farmed this out to the Ukraine, and whoever was doing the finishing colors, like this is man. This is the man leader of the X-Men. Because every other clue from that drawing was a man. But this one, who is an incredibly fit, incredibly strong, incredibly beautiful, powerful superhero, there is not one bit of her looking like a man, a pseudo-man, kind of manly, masculine, none of that. What she looks like is what she should be in the comics. A very powerful, very beautiful superhero who I want to be interested in and know more about. Not this hulking, flat, muscular, angry pseudo-man they've turned her into. So tell me what you think about this video. Tell me what you think about this statue. I'd like to hear from people who are in this part of fandom because obviously there's a market for it. There are tons of them and lots of new ones every month. I'm going to guess this is middle-aged professionals who are single. That's the only people I can imagine who can afford this very expensive hobby. But man, if money wasn't an object, I absolutely would buy some of these things like this. Captain Marvel. This is beautiful. This is a work of art. And this is, and this is kind of like a topic for a whole nother video. But comic books are actually kind of like the last true vestige of representational art. Representational art is kind of what it sounds like. It's, the old school stuff you see from, the classics. Drawing people that look like people, drawing a house that looks like a house, and just trying to do a beautiful version of that. In the 20th century, we got, abstract and postmodernism and all these things where, nobody would ever just draw, a beautiful girl sitting in front of a table. You had to do all these squares, do something weird. So comic books it's kind of like the last vestige of that. And then I think video games also. But this sculpt, to me, like, I have no problem calling this thing a work of art. I would even put this in a museum, and that sounds kind of silly. But I mean, when you do these idealized forms, it's more than just selling an expensive statue. And it's more about, this is literally like, it's like the Greeks and the Romans and the Italians and all these cultures did. This is about physical embodiment of the best non-physical attributes of humanity. This is basically like us at our best in symbolic form. Obviously, having super toned shoulder muscles doesn't, determine a good person from a bad person, but it's about strength, and it's also, just all these other good virtues that you, good qualities that you assume from these heroic forms. So tell me what you think about this sculpt. Let me know if you're into this hobby. How do you afford it? What are some other sculpts? This is from Sideshow. It's not an advertisement. I just really, really admire what they've done. And I'll have, I just bought a bunch of comics. So it seems like from what I noticed that these kind of off the top of my head, broader subjects are equally as popular as reviewing a comic. So I'm going to try to, play with the mix, see what is successful and what isn't. And then I'm going to have another video up later tonight. I think I'm going to do that Green Lantern 25. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, hit notifications, share, and like. Thank you very much.